Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of the Legacy Falconzord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, but it is also from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3. So this is the first Zord released from that era, since we're sort of hitting that Mighty Morphin now. And since I believe, if I remember correctly, stuff like this was released both in packaging that had the movie stuff and like regular packaging. Because we didn't, do specific designed releases for the movie. So they decided to go with that for the box style of this, which I'm kind of fine with. I saw a couple people complaining about it, but, we've gotten the Legacy boxes for so long now. It's nice to have something different like this and the Legacy Morpher one as well. But it looks fine. It's all done in the style, just like the old movie packaging. Got the logo up there. Kind of got the movie reel thing right there where the name is. Cool shot of all the helmets. It's a Toys R Us exclusive. Sometimes people ask, even though I point that out, and there's like a big sign in the whole review. And then on the top, just the name again. On the side here, here's the story. There's a little bit of glare, but I'm going to pause it here. So if you want to, or no, I'm not going to pause it. I mean, you can pause it right now if you want to read it. I'm just not going to bother. Other side, I believe, is another thing as well, just a description of it. There you go. If you want to pause it and read it. And then on the back, it shows what it can do, which is basically Bee's Falcon. Just shows it and like, hey, look, you can bend its wings, and it will be compatible with a future Legacy release of the Ninja Megazord. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I guess let's just go ahead and take a look at him on his own. Now, I'll say that he is definitely a nice release. There's really nothing bad about him at all. He looks very good. He does have die-cast pieces like it's advertised, which are his feet, which actually look really nice. The gold looks good on it. It's not that sort of cheap-looking shiny gold, which is on the old one, which we'll be taking a look at here again in a minute. But it still has like a shine to it. It's clear, it's metal, they look good, so I'm fine with that. All the details on it look pretty good. Like this sort of gunmetal color looks really nice here. You got the red plastic here. You have gold paint. It's pretty basic in terms of details. There's not a whole lot of different colors going, but the paint does look good. Like the gold has a noticeable nice shine to it. Like the head sculpt I think looks good right here. As you can see, the eye looks good. All that cool stuff. His little beak can't open. There's a little tiny like fingernail place so you can open his beak up and he can like, I don't know why he would have that voice, but you can do that. He does have varying bits of articulation and movement. He can move his legs back and forth as I pretty much just demonstrated. You can like claw his feet together like that, so you can like pseudo grab things or whatever. I guess like if you were like really intuitive, you could come up with a cool stand where he's like perched on something. You'd probably have to use some sort of better like securing method than the feet, but still that could end up being something cool for people that are more creative than me. Then his tail here flaps, obviously. It's largely used for like when you're standing him down. It's kind of a kickstand almost. His wings can flap back and forth, so you can do, the signature. That was actual sound effects. And then obviously we showed back as well on the back of the box, so Falcon stuffs. And then you can probably see here that these can actually move. When you take this out of the box, these are actually separate, and you pop them in and they can stay secured like that. But like after you snap them on when you get it out of the box, they now have this little hinge, so you get like an extra degree of movement, which is actually pretty cool. So like if you're posing them, you can sort of get them in just a sort of more elegant pose, which is really nice. Little bit to him. As you can see, there's going to be little pegs here for future formations. There's also these little thingies that pop up. Yeah, because as you saw in the back, he is going to be compatible with a future Legacy Ninja Megazord release. We haven't seen any official pics of it yet as of this review. They showed like the old one, I think it was Toy Fair, just to show that we're getting it. So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll take a real quick look at this next to his old counterpart. Now, keep in mind also mine's not in the best condition, just FYI. I actually have two of them, and neither of them are in the greatest condition. But yeah, we'll just take a very quick look at that. I'm trying to get him in a respectable pose. There we go. That's good enough. Okay, so this is the old Falconzord release. Like I said, mine's a little bit beat up. It's a little dirty. He is a little bit paler of a color for sure, but like mine's even more so. And like he's missing stickers and stuff up here. You can see there is a size difference, like just very slightly. and detail differences, and he's got those cheap looking feet, and I don't always hate this style of like coloring, but it's hit and miss for me. And as you can see, this is a sticker as opposed to it being a full-on piece. You can only move the back part of his feet here. You can't move these claws. He doesn't have that extra articulation there. He's got that sort of cheap looking thing here. So this isn't a terrible release or anything like that. You can still move his beak as well. He's actually got a little bit nicer of a lip down here to be able to get it if you just trim your fingernails like me. But yeah, this one is noticeably an improvement like they usually are. If you're like just looking for a Falconzord on its own, then I definitely would say this one over this one. But you know, if you have the other Zords, obviously this one's compatible with it. But yeah, it's definitely an improvement over the previous one. And like this one has these little things protruding out of here, and this one doesn't have a thing. They have like the female ports, I guess you could call them. So yeah, just overall it is nicer. Now, with this thing, the main issues, he's just gonna like face plant for a second, that people have with them is the price of him being, you know, released individually, which I totally get. Sorry about that. Which I totally get. He was $80 when he first came out, which is crazy. He was price adjusted to $60, and I believe that should be everywhere now as of this recording. If you're watching this way far in the future, he might not be available anymore, although they stick around quite a while. But yeah, he's been price adjusted to $60 as of this review. Who knows about sales and stuff later? So $60 is a much more acceptable price, especially if you can get a coupon or if there's a sale later or whatever. But 80 was definitely too much, but I still think 60 is too much. As I said in my Thunder Megazord review, I'm not typically one to complain too much about the Legacy releases prices, but the last two I think drew my attention more because this is just an individual Zord. Granted, Falconzord is a different individual Zord than as if we were just to release a random like individual Zord from any Megazord. Like if we were to take the Ninja Ape Zord and release it by itself and it'll be like 50 or 60 bucks, then that would be weirder. He is more of a standalone thing, and he was released on his own in the original line, and that makes sense to me, at least the releasing on his own, because if I guarantee or near guarantee they'll probably do the Shogun Megazord at some point, and if you have no interest in the Ninja Megazord but you want the Shogun Megazord and you want to do Shogun Mega Falconzord, then if it came with the Ninja Megazord, you'd have to buy the whole thing just to get this. So individual releasing was smart for this, so that you could put them on one or the other, because I'm pretty sure they're going to do Shogun Megazord eventually. But so that's fine with that, but I think this should have been $40, maybe $50. I think $50 probably would have been the most even pricing for this. It definitely is just a little bit too pricey for what you get, especially since all he does is really look cool. I mean, there's no other features. I mean, we haven't had electronics or anything, but I suppose that would have been neat, or just something to make it more worth this sort of hefty price. But yeah, it's definitely a decent release, but I think it's still a bit too pricey. And honestly, this is just like a little aside, but I think it would have been cool if, I know everyone's kind of sick of MMPR, but like just from a neat collectible standpoint, if we had done like this in the regular packaging of the Season 3 release, and then done the actual movie versions in like the movie packaging, because we never got ones that are accurate to the movie, and those Zords can be a bit fugly, but just from like a neat perspective, I think it would have been cool to get those as like a, I don't know, collector's item. But yeah, overall this is still a decent release, but maybe not quite worth the price unless you're like a huge Falconzord fanatic. Anyway, until next time, make sure you have the Crazy Podcast at writersrangersrambles.com, and of course don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, it's Dawson Ryder signing out.